Going stale over Christmas, your property for rent or for sale on the market and it hasn't sold. Can it go stale? Stay tuned.
I know, a bit of a surprise. Good morning.
Whoa, it's Father Christmas. Good, you?
I'm good. It's a great day in Sydney. You know, sun's out. It's getting hot. You know, it's coming into summer.
Summer is here. It is official. 3 days in a row. It's here.
Exactly. And we're close to Christmas as well, so got to get in the festive spirit. But no, today we're talking about the staleness of your property on the market.
Yep. Big topic. So big scary topic.
You know, it is, you know, especially coming up to that Christmas and New Year's period, you know, we're seeing a lot of properties having a bit longer time on the market. So it is a very interesting topic to touch base on. But Mark, do you want to get us started?
Yeah, so what we're talking about is you've had your property on. So there's probably a thing called days on market, which is pretty standard for your suburb. It's different in sales and in rentals. So Northern Beaches of Sydney, as an example, a typical unit on the market for sale would be about 15 days. That's from when it's actually first listed on a portal like realestate.com or Domain, and it gets locked and registered when it hits that portal. Then it gets counted, and then when a contract is signed for the property and it is sold, then it's taken off. That period between when it was listed on the portal and it was sold and removed from the portal, we refer as days on market. So days on market is about 15 days for a unit, and now in, say, DY, it's about 34 days for a house in DY, by the way. So it's interestingly a bit longer. What do you reckon about days on market? I just want to understand days on market before we go into that stale part of it. But what do you reckon days on market are, Sam, for rentals for a house and a unit?
Yeah. So with rentals, it is quite quick. Obviously, that move-in and that lease process is less detail orientated rather than, you know, a sale contract and getting that all organised. Still important nonetheless, but you know, that turnover is much less. If I have to say so myself, it'd be, you know, it does depend on the unit as well, you know, in demand and, you know, the price points where it hits. But I'd say it'd be about maybe 5 days on the market. It is changing though, coming up to Christmas as well. We're seeing a large quantity and, you know, less demand. A lot of people are packing up and moving elsewhere. I think that is mainly due to COVID, and, you know, people are just sick and tired of staying at home all the time. They want a fresh start. So it will be interesting to see in the new year as well. But yeah, typically 5 days.
And I think if you're repositioning yourself, the perfect time to do it is in that sort of December, January period. If you're repositioning for work or schools or family and stuff like that, changing areas. Now, So we've established where days on market is for rentals and for sales in general in the area. We're probably a good district of Sydney to look at as well. Yeah. So when you're a seller of a property or a landlord of a property, at what point do you think it goes stale where it actually potentially can damage the property? So I guess if a buyer's expecting that properties are selling between 15 to 30 days, or if they're expecting that properties are renting after 5 or 10 days, surely after that, buyers are going to have that moment where they're going to go, you know what, this thing's stale. Now they're going to do two things. They're going to go, I don't want it, it's stale, yuck, and curse the thing, or they're going to be predatory and say, maybe I can get this for a bargain. At what point do you reckon that staleness sinks in?
Like, it does depend per property, but, you know, it doesn't look good when, you know, you see that property listed, you know, for a couple of weeks. You know, I'd even suggest maybe even 2 weeks, you know, and you start seeing that, oh, you know, it's a nice property, price is a bit high, why is it not rented yet? And then I guess they get that mindset of they can try and get a get a bargain in. But I think another key aspect that, you know, agents should look for is the 3 Ps. You know, we talk about it from time to time in the business: the price, product, and promotion. You know, it is important to hit all those factors when you are doing that that campaign of your rental or sale. You know, it is the key factors holding up that rental, basically.
All right, so a property can go stale on the market. Now, if it does go stale, I think you need to help it. I think, which is what we're talking about with price, product, promotion. I sometimes I do always turn around and say, look, should I just take it off the market, put it back on the market later? And then often the next thing you know, a hot buyer comes from around the corner. We're assuming that buyers will see it on day one, or tenants will see it on day one. That's not always the case. I think it's a little bit like fishing with a net. You've got to make sure the net's in the water long enough to catch the big fish. Just because you throw the net in the water, it doesn't mean you're going to catch all of the fish within 15 seconds. You need to leave the net in the water long enough to catch the big fish. Now, often in sales in real estate, when we do if we're selling on behalf of a bank, mortgage in possession, if it's a deceased estate, generally an auction is done for 4 weeks, for 28 days. Now that's saying something. That's saying that generally that's a good time for all buyers in the marketplace, a good cross-section of the marketplace to see the property, a 4-week period. It also says that buyers won't see it. All buyers won't see it on day one. All buyers won't see it on week one, and it needs to be out there a certain time. But what we are talking about today is when is it actually damaging when you go beyond that point potentially, and people going, oh shit, mate, no one wants it.
Yeah. I just want to reiterate off that. With what you're saying now, you know, coming up to Christmas, if you're a landlord watching and, you know, you've seen that you've just heard that your tenant's giving their notice and you're thinking, you know, crap, you know, this is not the best time. Don't fret, you know. Here at Novak, we're open every day except for public holidays. So we're sort of capitalizing on those Christmas breaks people are having. You know, people are on Christmas break at the moment. You know, they want to view that property to secure their spot for the new year. So we'll be there providing the service, you know, helping them out, basically capitalizing on that moment to secure a new tenant. But I don't think as a landlord you should fret over this tough time in the market, but nonetheless you'll be fine.
And also, the next 2 Saturdays, talking about properties going stale on the market, the next 2 Saturdays after this Saturday, we won't be having open houses because the first Saturday is going to be Christmas Day. The second Saturday is going to be New Year's Day. But we are open all other days, aside from those public holidays. Now, when we are talking about going stale on the market, so something I've also got to consider on the back of what you just said, Sam, there are properties leaving the market. So you've got a decision as an owner to say, look, I'm going to take my property off the market, have a Merry Christmas and put it back on next year. The problem is at the moment, and this is what I really feel strongly about, and that's why I think it's probably not going to go stale, your property, if you have had it on. You're talking about owners that may have had their property on for 3 months at the moment. At the moment, what will happen is properties will leave the market. So people will have a Merry Christmas, take their property off realestate.com.au, take their property off Domain. And what it starts to do is starts to elevate your property. So it's like any product, the less of the availability of a product can make it more valuable. It may make it more valuable. So by leaving your property on the market in a period when a lot of houses and units are coming off the market, it could make your place look even more attractive because you're the last man standing. You're selling in isolation. That potentially can get you some really good money because a buyer is, get this, December and January, and I've said it before, the numbers on realestate.com and Domain go absolutely crazy out there. So what does that prove? It proves buyers have got time. It proves they're still interested in property. And if you're the only one there in your, you may be the suburb where there's 6 houses on the market, now that you're the only one through this Christmas period, it could be the chance for a really good price and not be going stale.
Exactly. That's very important. It's very underlooked at, but nonetheless still important. Another thing we should also touch base on is repackaging your marketing. It is very ideal to switch up your marketing from time to time to spice it up a bit, just to reach broader margins, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So with that famous saying, the definition of insanity is to continue the same thing and expect a different result. So repackaging on the back of what you're saying, Sam, if you've got a house and you haven't moved, changed, freshened up the marketing, your agent hasn't done that with rentals or with sales, you're in trouble. So you really got to look at it. And you know what? It's like sharpening a blade. Your real estate agent's going to get better and better as the weeks go on of showing your property, because you become more comfortable with the house or the unit. You know how to move through the property, know how to answer the questions more accurately. You're a better agent. So you've got to make sure your marketing, we do sometimes after week 2 or week 3, we refurnish the property with digital furniture. You move your photo selections around, you get your text better, you may price the property better, and get more competitive within the market. So that's really, really important. You've got to look at that. If your agent is just doing the same drone, boring campaign all the way through in week 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7, 8, 9, you're in trouble as well. So you've got to keep freshening it up, repackage, redress.
Exactly. I love the word repackage, but nonetheless, Mark, is there anything else we should touch base on this morning in regards to the staleness of the property or anything like that?
I'd hate to admit it, but sometimes in month 1, sometimes in month 2, you get the best price than you have ever gotten, or best offer on the property that you have ever gotten for rent or for sale. It does happen. I don't encourage it. I think often you should know within 4 weeks where it is, but sometimes owners are like, look, I just can't transact at that number. I'll hold. Believe it or not, they sometimes get the result. Not always, but it happens.
You do see the miracle from time to time. It does happen. And then people wonder, how did you get that price for? It is what it is, but yeah.
For rent and for sale.
Yeah, exactly. Too easy, Mark. Thanks for chatting with me this morning.
Mate, pleasure. And can a property go stale on the market? That's the question today. The answer is probably.
But
Too easy. But there's things you can do.
Exactly.
See you, buddy.
Too easy.
Thanks, Aaron. Cheers. Bye.